ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
What is your message, Stacey Abrams, to people, Americans, no matter what their background out there, who have said to me as I've traveled the country this year, I'm scared, I'm in shock, I feel powerless. What can people do? What do you say to people?
I say there are 10 steps to authoritarianism and autocracy, but there are also 10 steps to freedom and power. And the 10
Mm,
steps campaign that we've launched is about exactly that. First, you have to recognize what we face. We got a lot of folks out there who feel something's wrong, but they can't put their finger on it. They can't articulate it. And so I've taken the steps. I want to give great credit to Professor Kim Sheppel at Princeton University. She and I did a panel together, and I quickly appropriated her panel, her presentation with her permission, remixed it, added some stuff, editorialized it a bit. So I don't want her to ever get in trouble for what I say. But we need to know what it looks like. We need to know that the reason they fired 300,000 Black women was because they were
mm,
trying to gut government so it doesn't work. That's step 4. That the reason they're trying to get rid of Lisa Cook is step 5, which is you install a loyalist who will do your bidding. And because she won't vote the way the president wants in order to dismantle the Fed, they're trying to get rid of her. So you want to recognize what's happening. But then the next thing you need to do is activate around success. How do we win? And that's the 10 steps to freedom and power. That means we have to commit to knowing what's happening and to believing that we are entitled to more. We've got to share what we know. You can't just keep it to yourself or tell the people who agree with you. You got to tell everybody. You got to organize, whether that's an organization that you've created or you're a member of, or just getting your friends and families and your cousins around to make sure they understand it. You got to organize, mobilize. We got to do something about it. Before we had money, before we had power, we had each other. And one of the ways you break democracy is by convincing people it doesn't work. So we've got to show up and do what the Black Panthers did when they were creating free health clinics, do what was done in Philadelphia when they created the EMS services, when Black people created paramedics because the white people would not pick them up. That's how we got the ambulance services. So we've got to remember we can mobilize to solve some of the problems they're creating. We can't do it at scale. That's why we need government, but we can do enough to convince people that it's worth fighting for. We got to litigate. We got to sue. Because even if the law won't turn out in our favor ultimately, Thurgood Marshall lost a lot before he won. And we've got to get it on the record. We've got to disrupt. We've got to protest. But we also have to hand out know your rights cards in Memphis, in DC, in Los Angeles, so people know what is permitted and what is not. They may break the rules, but they need to know you know. We need to deny them the ability to change our language and change our understanding of the world. That's why I talk about DEI everywhere I go. You're not going to convince me that just because you dislike it, that it's not right, that these aren't traditional foundational values. We have to engage. We got to call our legislators. And if they won't do what we need them to do, we need to run for their offices, but we also need to bring ideas to them. Don't just wait for them to solve problems. Tell them what you think the solution looks like. We've got to elect, and not just the federal elections. We have to win, but we also have to win at the state and local level. And Kevin, you saw that when you were down in Georgia with me. It's not just about who's the president. It's about who's in charge of every level of government, because they're all working together to thwart you. So we've got to work together to save us. And ultimately, we have to demand, that's step 10, we have to demand a better democracy, because so many people gave up because it wasn't working for them. They stayed silent because despair was easier than hope. And so we have to demand not what we had, but we've got to demand what we've always deserved. And that means we've got to work to build it. Those are the 10 steps to freedom and power. And you can find them all at 10stepscampaign.org.
I love this. I love it. I love it. And I
Yes.
was going to ask you to lean in, because the problems we're in it. We're sitting in this pot. It's horrible. We're being, it's like, I want out. I want out. But the solutions require something of us. And I think, I often say freedom isn't free. We just think it just is handed to us. And I think probably our parents, grandparents did us a disservice by not immersing us in the struggle, because it was too hard. You didn't want to burden the next generation with it. But I think our memory has been blanked as a result, and we don't know what this is anymore.
I think that's true, although I would say that there was a bit of hope that they had, that they'd won the battles. You had the Voting Rights Act. You didn't realize that within a generation, the Supreme Court would be gutting Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, that John Roberts, who spent his time at the Justice Department before he became a Supreme Court justice, trying to dismantle the Voting Rights Act, and now he gets to have a front row seat. You wouldn't believe that the fact that the Fair Housing Act was designed to protect against discrimination, that we would have a slumlord as a president who is trying to dismantle it. You wouldn't accept that we would go to a time when we have a CDC telling us how to stay alive, that you would have to fight to convince people that dying of tuberculosis is a bad idea. And so I think I want to give our predecessors a little bit of credit for thinking they thought they did the work. But that's why
Right.
we are called to this moment. We've got to build freedom and power. We've got to build more. Now we know where the cracks are. We know where the weaknesses are because they have exploited them, but they've also told us, they wrote it down. Project 2025 isn't a secret. We have to read it and believe them. You know, Maya said, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. We have to believe them, but we know who we are because we are the progeny of those who escaped slavery. We are the progeny of those who defeated Jim Crow. We are the progeny of those who elected people to high office. And we can do it again, but we've got to do it better this time. And the only way we get to better is to recognize, activate, and start building. We can have this.
I love it. Stacey Abrams is
Yes.
here. Was it 10 steps? Because
10
I tend to
steps.
send people to StaceyAbrams.com. But 10
They can go there, but 10stepscampaign.org. They can also follow me on my podcast, Assembly Required. I talk about it every week. And my Substack, which is Assembly Notes. Everything I do for the foreseeable future will be about how we save our country. 10
love
steps
it.
to freedom and power. So go to 10stepscampaign.org, sign up, and share.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will